Morning, and we are in chapter 3 of 2 Kings, and we're going to talk about, going to start seeing some things with Elisha and what he can do. And this is him working with the king, both kings actually. Now Jehoram, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Samaria the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. So Jehoram, Ahab's son, and he wrought evil in the sight of the Lord, but not like his father. Remember, his father was really into pagan worship and everything, and like his mother, he put away the image of Baal that his father had made. So he got rid of that worship of Baal. He kind of was smart enough to do that. Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which made Israel sin, and he departed not therefrom. Remember, Jeroboam, one of the things I believe his problem was he how he ruled and the people that he ruled. He wasn't a good man. So he still had all these things, maybe not Baal, but others. And Jeroboam, they keep coming back to that. He cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam. So we remember when we talked about Jeroboam and Rehoboam and their problems, things keep stemming back to them. And Mesha, the king of Moab, was a sheep master, and rendered unto the king of Israel 100,000 lambs and 100,000 rams with wool. So it sounds like they had this thing which they would share their lambs as a trade. And it came to pass that when Ahab was dead, that the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. And King Jehoram went out of Samaria the same time and numbered all Israel, and he went and sent to Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah. Remember, Jehoshaphat was righteous, and Jehoshaphat also sought the word of the Lord, and he also made friendships with the northern kingdom. I think a lot of peace should be attributed to Jehoshaphat. The king of Moab had rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go. I am as thou art, my people as thy people, and my horses as thy horses. That's almost the same thing he had said to Ahab. He also had asked for the help of the prophet at that time. This time it doesn't mention that, but we know who Jehoshaphat is, and that he is a righteous man. He must have known that this should be done as well. And we see how it goes. And he said, which way shall we go up? And he answered, the way through the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they fetched a compass. They went around, basically, of 7 days' journey. And there was no water for the hosts and for the cattle that followed them. And the king of Israel said, alas, that the Lord hath called these kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. But Jehoshaphat said, there is a prophet. Is there not a prophet of the Lord that we may inquire of him? Now, if you see on the right, there is a message. Why was Elisha upset. Now, I'm not going to read that because I think it kind of explains it in the story, and you can read further about that. That we may inquire of him. So he wants to inquire of the prophet now, and that's how Jehoshaphat works. He believes in the prophets and believes in God. And one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, "There is Elisha the son of Shaphat, which poured water on the hands of Elijah," meaning he served Elijah. He was his servant, not as a slave, but as a servant to Elijah. And Jehoshaphat said, "The word of the Lord is with him." So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat and the king of Edom went down to him. And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, "What have I to do with thee? Get thee to the prophets of thy father." He's basically saying, you know what? You don't want to hear what I have to say. Why don't you just go to those prophets? The ones that your father kept going to. If you want to listen to anything, listen to them. Of course, remember last time your father listened to them. He died. But you go to them. That's as much as you seem to... You haven't learned the lesson. If your father was listening to false prophets, then why are you still listening to them? And to the prophets of your mother. And the king of Israel said, and think about the prophets of mother, the prophets of the Baal, who Elijah had, what was it, 800 of them killed. Nay, for the Lord hath called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. So he's not very happy, but he realizes that there are some righteous people there, Jehoshaphat, and I would guess the king of Edom as well. Elisha said, "As the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely there were not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee, nor see thee." He said, I wouldn't even give you the time of day if it wasn't for Jehoshaphat. You're glad to have him there. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass that when a minstrel played, that the hand of the Lord came upon him. I just was thinking this morning how important it is to have good music around you. I knew that when I was 12. I really considered what kind of music I listened to, and really try to find that music that affected me in a purposeful way, a way that made me feel good about myself, and also made me think about things that were more heavenly, you might say. And he said, "Thus saith the Lord, make this valley full of ditches." So now he's telling him to do something that's really weird. And thus saith the Lord, "Ye shall not see wind, neither shall ye see rain, yet that valley shall be filled with water, that ye may drink, both ye and your cattle and your beasts." So they're thinking, we need something to drink. He says, put in this desert, and it'll fill with water. Okay, but they do it. And this is but a light thing in the sight of the Lord. He will deliver the Moabites into your hands. He's saying, not only will I make sure that you have something to drink, but the Lord will deliver the Moabites into your hands. And the Lord does this all the time with Israel, saying that you might know that that I am your God. And ye shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree, and stop all the wells of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. He's saying, once they're delivered in your hands, destroy all of this, because they are wicked, and they refuse to follow me, and I'm asking you to do this work. What should have been done when Israel came into the land in the first place? And it came to pass that in the morning, when the meat offering was offered, that behold, there came water by way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. Where? In those trenches. And when all the Moabites heard that the kings were up to fight against them, they gathered all that were able to put on armor and upward, and stood in the border. So the Moabites came with power to fight against them. Pretty much their whole army is what they're saying. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water, and the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. So what the Israelites saw was, oh, wow, look, the miracle of the water. The Moabites went, there's blood everywhere. And they said, this is the blood. The kings are surely slain, and they have smitten one another. Now therefore, Moab, go to spoil. So they're saying, they must have killed each other. Let's go and just ransack what they've left. And they went to the camp of Israel, and the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites. So they fled before them. But they went forward, smiting the Moabites, even in their country. And they beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land cast every man his stone, and filled it. And they stopped all the wells of water, and filled all the trees. Only in Kir-Haresh left they stones thereof. Howbeit the slingers went about it, and smote it. When the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took with him 700 men, and drew swords to break through, even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. So he's like, oh no, I'm trapped. So what's he going to do? He took his eldest son, that should have reigned in his place, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against Israel, and they departed from him and returned to their own land. What a horrible, why do you think the Lord is destroying this people? Look what they're doing to their own children. And you see that Elisha has that power, and they know that he can help them out. That should mean that they should turn to the prophets and do what they say. Well, we'll see how that works out in the next few chapters.